Yo, guys, Justin James here, and we are fight week of Merab taking on Petr Yan for the second time. Guys, I know some people aren't excited about this matchup because it's a rinse and repeat matchup, but here's the thing. Merab has taken out everybody in the division. He's really only can fight rematches now. Sugar Sean, he's taken out. Umar Nurmagomedov, they're probably going to do number 2 there. Petr Yan, very tough, very deserving. He's beaten Jose Aldo. Before I talk about all these great fights that he's won, let's get into his topology and dive a little deeper into what this guy has done. And again, another title defense, as it reads here, most title defenses. With a win at UFC 323, Merab will break the record for most title defenses by a UFC bantamweight in history, and he will have done it in less than a year. And if that's not impressive to you guys, I don't know what is. Let's dive right in to Merab the Machine, one of my favorite fighters. And here we go. Merab coming into this matchup. 21 wins, 4 losses. Currently on a 14-fight win streak. That is insane. 34 years of age, so still has a couple good years left him at the bantamweight division or the featherweight division. There's talk of that too. Obviously ranked number 1 with a record of 14 wins and 2 losses. Now, when you look at his record, 3 knockouts, 2 submissions, and 16 decision wins. And, I talk a lot of trash about guys with a bunch of decision wins, but how can you not root for this guy? This guy is an incredible human being inside and out, regardless of his finish style. He has a very exciting style, and he's such a fighter's fighter, man. Any place, anytime, has relentless pace. And I don't love this number right here, but I like him for everything he does outside of the cage so much. I tend to put this to the side. 14-2 in the UFC. And now let's get into this resume. Beat Corey Sandhagen, Sean O'Malley, Umar Nurmagomedov, Sean O'Malley, Henry Cejudo, Olympic champion wrestler, out-wrestled him, smoked him. Petr Yan, who's the rematch, Jose Aldo, Marlon Moraes, Cody Stamann, my teammate, John Dodson, Gustavo Lopez, my teammate, Casey Kenny. This guy has look, this is just, in my opinion, this is the most impressive run in the UFC. This guy is the GOAT of bantamweight. You talk about Jose Aldo, arguably one of the best featherweights of all time. Cody Stamann, who has always been a killer. Petr Yan, ranked number 2 at the time. Henry Cejudo, Olympic champion. Sean O'Malley, former champion. Nobody thought, including myself, thought he could beat Umar. Sean O'Malley, former champion, beat him again. Corey Sandhagen, now he's going against Petr Yan again. I don't see how you guys can root against this guy. And Petr Yan, obviously no slouch, but he's definitely no Merab. All right, let's get into Petr Yan's resume. And unfortunately, Petr Yan has suffered some losses recently in the UFC. 19-5 overall coming in. Currently on a 3-fight win streak. 32 years of age, so a little bit younger. 7 wins by KO, 11 wins by decision, 1 submission. Big fan of Petr Yan. I think he's a dog. Takes the fight to his opponent all the time. 11-4 in the UFC. Former champion Song Yadong was on. He's fighting former champion coming up. Lost to Merab. Lost to champion. Lost to a champion. Lost to a champion. Lost to a champion. So before we criticize Petr Yan's losses, these are all to UFC champions. And this was kind of a Bush League loss right here. Very close split decision. Thought he was winning this fight. So, his losses, champion, 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 and the rematch. And he beat former champion here. Marcus McGee, not really a huge name, number 17, stepping up. But pretty impressive resume here. I think he's pretty deserving. Former champion, Uriah Faber never made it to the championship. But beat a lot of good guys. And this guy is an incredible fighter. Looking at this matchup and seeing what Merab did to him the first time, I think Merab's going to be a huge favorite here. As he should be against almost anybody. But Petr Yan has an incredible style, and he could catch Merab coming in at any time. So let's look into this, and let's see how the odds makers have this fight playing out. minus 480. Wow, I thought it was going to be big, but I didn't think it was going to be this big. I might put a little bit of coin on Petr Yan in this fight just because he's such a huge underdog, maybe like 50 bucks or something. Or maybe put him in like a Bush League parlay just because that's such a huge number. And guys, if you guys saw the first match, I mean, it was Merab from start to finish. I'm going to get into my prediction and the breakdown. We have 91% Tapology taking Merab, as I am, by decision. But if Petr Yan wins, I think it's going to be by a dramatic knockout, maybe a knee. He has some incredible knees. You saw him against Aljamain Sterling. Hit him when he was down. Just has to get lucky and time it. Now, before we get into my prediction, which is pretty obvious, my prediction is going to be Merab. I really think that we need to look at the stats from the first time they fought because they are so beyond impressive. And everyone says that, oh, Petr Yan can strike with him, but that's not the case. In their first matchup, Merab outstruck Petr Yan. He used his wrestling to set up his striking. And I want to show this with you guys before I get into more of the breakdown. Knockdown 0-0. Now we're getting the significant strikes. Petr Yan threw 143. Merab threw 338. Well, more than double. Lands almost double the significant strikes. Look at this. Percentage 43 to 52. But again, threw more than twice as many. So for you guys out there saying that Merab can't strike with someone like Petr Yan, you couldn't be further from the truth. Takedowns, 49 attempts, only lands 11. Talk about cardio. 49 takedown attempts compared to 5. To Petr Yan's credit, he landed one but couldn't hold him down. Have the same percentage here, but he shot almost 50 times, guys. No submission attempts, passes or reversals. We can go round by round, but it really doesn't matter. Look at this, 25 to 62. Like these strikes or the striking, all Merab. And it's tough for someone like Petr Yan who has incredible striking, is so gritty. But unfortunately for Petr Yan, I just don't see a case to where he'll be able to hang with the pressure of Merab. It's just, almost 15 takedown attempts, landing, a little bit slightly more than 20%, 22%. I just don't see anywhere in this fight where Petr Yan is going to be able to hang with the output, the striking output, the wrestling output. Merab is going to be in his face, feinting, getting Petr Yan going high-low, looking for those big shots, maybe looking for a good uppercut. And again, Petr Yan has incredible striking, but not against someone like Merab who can keep the pace on him from start to finish. Merab doesn't need to finish takedowns. He just needs to make Petr Yan think about his takedown attempts in order for him to land his striking. Again, Merab can strike with the best of them, and you guys need to understand this because his wrestling sets up his striking. They're like, oh, well, Petr Yan's a better striker. Yes, this is not a kickboxing match. This is an MMA fight. And the stats here have Merab outstriking him, out wrestling him, doing everything better than Petr Yan. Now, Petr Yan has come forward and said that he is going to knock out Merab, but how? Now, again, could he catch Merab, coming in for one of those 49 takedown attempts? Of course he can. Of course he can. But do you think it's going to happen? If it was going to happen, it would have been in the first one, guys. And I just don't see where he's going to do it. It's just tough to say, man. I just don't see anywhere Petr Yan can win this fight. And it sucks because I'm such a huge Petr Yan fan. And, to have someone that's such a good fighter in the division, that is a championship caliber fighter, not be able to get anything, because Merab, to me, right now is the best pound for pound fighter in the division. He's on a 14-fight win streak. He's defended his belt 4 times already in this fight. And unfortunately, unless Petr Yan gets lucky with a big shot, I think this fight is going to go exactly how it is. relentless takedown effort, relentless striking. Yan's going to be on his back foot the whole time, trying to land that one big shot. Guys, I might put a little bit of coin on Petr Yan because he's at plus 340, but not because I think he's going to win. Guys, in the comments, I'm sure most of you guys agree with me, but tell me what you think. Are you taking the machine or are you taking Petr Yan, guys? Tell me in the comments.